Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Welcome to the Apollo Audio Podcast.
Hello.
Back in our normal slot that no one knows what the difference is, except that it was really loud on last week's episode because we had the band playing next door.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh,
and they were loud as well. It makes editing hard.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, thank Christ we've got a PRS license now.
Well, that's all right. But, I mean, I think that's, and we have got a license, so that's good. But yeah, it's it makes editing quite hard because if I want to take a little bit out of what we taled about, you can hear the song.
Oh, it's like 8 bars ahead now,
in the band, and it's like I'm singing along with the song in the background. And it goes, "Oh, what happened?"
No, yeah.
So that was weird. Haven't introduced ourselves as usual because we're idiots. I'm Martin Lumsden, producer and engineer.
I'm Billy, and I've got a cold today, so
oh man,
I apologise if I sound a bit croaky and cough.
So just try not to sniff or cough directly into the microphone, and we'll be all right.
That'd be a good editing job for you,
I think. It's usually your yawns I have to take out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, such a busy
I'm just
man.
so comfortable here.
Always tired. Yeah, and sitting right under the heater as well.
Like a cat.
It's nice. It was another nice thing that's come in this morning, and there's music playing, there's people playing drums.
Yes.
It's always great coming in
at
here.
9 a.m.
At 9 o'clock in the morning, there's people playing music.
Never stops.
I love it. It's great stuff.
We had the Manfred Man back in on Monday.
Oh, cool.
So really cool.
Is it Manfred Man?
Oh, they're called the Manfred Man Blues Band now.
Manfred Man Blues
so it's
Band,
not Manfred Man. I don't
because
know
Manfred Man's not. Did you know Manfred Man is actually a person?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's a great name.
I know. But you can't really have Manfred Man without Manfred Man in it. But they've got a weird history in that they were Manfred Man and then they became the Manfreds and now they're the Manfred
Manfreds,
Blues
sorry.
Band.
Yeah. So the blues band.
Paul Jones.
Yeah, Paul Jones. And he was talking to my dad. He had 24 different harmonicas.
Cool. All different keys.
All different keys. Yeah, because I thought there's only 12 notes in the musical alphabet and that. But then you've also got majors and minors and all stuff like that and scales. So, wow, it was really cool.
Wicked.
And my, I think last time, it wasn't this time, one of the guys in the band, I forget his name now, he wrote Handbags and the Gradlags.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and he played it to my dad on the piano. I was like, that is something you could pay like thousands of pounds for, like...
Yeah,
just
to get a personal performance from the guy that wrote one of the most famous songs of all time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
How insane is that?
I think that was a big hit in America, I think.
Well, we've also got Rod Stewart, and then I grew up with the Stereophonics version.
Yeah.
I think it's that only number one, I think.
Is that right?
Oh no, it might be Dakota. That was Dakota.
Dakota was number one, I think.
Yeah. Do you know they're not that big in America? Because I went down a bit of a Stereophonics rabbit hole the other day.
Oh yeah.
I think Dakota was the biggest selling one, and it was like wasn't even like the top 100 or something like that.
I went to Stevenage at the weekend.
Where'd you go?
Because Eva wanted to go to the gym, so we were there. But I was wandering around in Stevenage.
Why'd you go to the gym in Stevenage?
Reasons. But I was walking about in Stevenage, and it's like, there's an HMV.
Is there?
There's an HMV in Stevenage. That's why I thought, God, there's an HMV there.
And there's a Coda Music there, like music shop.
The music, yeah. So I thought, I'll go into HMV in Stevenage.
Yeah.
I bought, this is what was great about it. So I went in, I bought some records on vinyl.
Yeah.
I wandered out of the store with my vinyls in my HMV bag, walking around the city centre of Stevenage. I thought, I feel like I'm 17 again.
Yeah. What did you get?
That's what I used to do. I used to go into town on a Saturday, go to the record shop and walk home with my vinyl in a bag.
Do you remember you used to have the CD things and you could like get the headphones and just listen to this, like there would be certain... That was so cool.
Yeah, listening stations.
Yeah. What did you...
That was fun.
What'd you get then?
Oh, this will be a great indication entirely of what my state of mind is in relation to the type of music that I like. It's all indie bands with female singers.
Nice, yeah.
I got The Last Dinner Party, their new album, Wet Leg.
Yeah.
Their new album. And I bought, because I've been listening to it recently, and I thought, do you know what, I really like this. Billie Eilish.
Oh, really?
Hit Me Hard and Soft. Which I just think the songs on it are great, the production on it is great, and I've just really sort of fallen in love with that album. So
did I tell you I was supposed to be a guitar tech for Last Dinner Party?
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
I saw them before they were big.
Where was it? It was at some
Hyde Park.
Hyde Park. I was going to say it was at a big thing.
I was on there as a guitar tech, but just for a free ticket. They didn't actually need one, so that was amazing. That was really cool.
Nice. Yeah. Love that sort of stuff. But just felt like a teenager again with my records.
That's why I didn't know that. Where is it? Is it in Old Town?
No, it's in the new. It's in the what's the big shopping centre complex thing? Westgate.
Oh, cool.
It's in there.
Oh, nice. I do love a good vinyl shop, CD shop.
It's just
apparently
nice.
They're the one in. I don't know if we mentioned the other week. There's a new where Mr. Tanaka's is in Hertford.
Yeah.
It's now a sandwich shop.
Yes.
And there's gonna be like vinyls in there as well.
A sandwich and vinyl.
That is perfect for me. I love a good Sony and music.
Sandwich and vinyl.
Yeah.
The perfect combination.
Yeah. So that'd be cool. Look forward to that.
Have you bought anything recently?
What have I bought recently? I've been bought a lot of albums, and me and Charlotte have got in our front room now. We've got like all our books and all our vinyl sort of up, and it's like sometimes you just want to buy stuff because it looks cool, and it like. Oh, my music tastes quite good. So we're going Bath at the weekend, and I'll probably go to a record. I really want like a Phoebe Bridgers album because I think that suits like the vinyl sort of vibe. I'd love to get one of them.
There is a great record. I went to a record shop in Bath last year and bought a couple of records in there. I'll have to try and find out the name of it for you. So
I'll definitely get a couple. What have I been listening to?
It was a little indie shop, so it's cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What I've been listening to? The Downward Spiral. I've been listening to a lot this week.
Cool. All right.
Is that the transition?
We can do that transition. I didn't ask you what you bought, not what you've been listening to, but that's all right.
Oh, what if I haven't bought any music recently? That's quite bad, isn't it?
It's all right.
No, sorry. I'll spend a lot of money this weekend.
You did say you'd be buying stuff, and you're going to go and you buy them because they look cool rather than they sound good. That's good.
Yeah. That's the most important thing.
Well, no, I do like that because I was on an online call yesterday evening actually, and in the background, this guy in his background, he had it was like not a mosaic. That's not quite the right, but he had about 16 albums, I think, and they were all like in a sort of tiled thing behind him on the wall. So it was like,
collage,
4x4 of all these album things. I thought that's quite cool. But I want to play them. I don't want to pin them up. So then you have
to ones I've got in the studio.
Records, take them out the sleeves.
I've got all the actual discs at home, the actual vinyls. I've just got the artwork.
Yeah. I would miss taking them out the cover though. That's part of it for me.
Yeah.
Like picking it off the shelf and taking it out the cover. Love it. I still love it. Go to my bedroom to play records. It just makes me feel like a kid. I love it. Yes, so you mentioned this week's album. Let's do it. The Downward Spiral by 9 Inch Nails, which is Rolling Stone 500.
That's quite high up, isn't it?
I think it is. It's higher. We did Pretty Hate Machine, which was their 1989 album. We did that pretty early on in the podcast, I think. But this one's higher than that, I think.
I think it's like 122 or 123 because we was looking at Led Zeppelin as well, and this was one higher than Led Zeppelin, wasn't
it? That's right, yeah. So highly regarded, 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor. Said the debut album was 1989. This one's 94, I think.
Is it the third one then, or is it?
I remember Pretty Hate Machine when it came out, and I think after that, I remember he did. I think he would sort of call them EPs.
Yeah.
Broken and Fixed. I think called those two EPs. I think I'm right in saying that this followed on from those.
Yeah.
So third release or second album or third album.
Did you listen to it when it came out?
I'm not entirely sure. No, I got those two EPs. I really loved Pretty Hate Machine, and I listened to Broken and Fixed, and I didn't love them as much. So I think by the time the Downward Spiral came out, I was a bit sort of not paying attention as much to 9 Inch Nails then. Always knew they were around, but I wasn't really listening to them. So this is pretty much my first listen to this album, to be fair. You? Have you heard it before?
I think it's one of them albums that I've always wanted to give it a go because it's so highly regarded. And when the opportunity came out, I was like, yes, finally. And obviously knew Hurt, and I knew, we've talked about it before, when that Limp Bizkit, where he got the lyrics from Hot Dog for.
Yeah.
It's a very horny album, actually, isn't it? So I've heard a bit. So I think I gave it a go a couple of years ago, but then didn't fully. I was like, wow, now's my chance. And from what I know we listened to Pretty Hate Machine, but my knowledge of 9 Inch Nails has been their later stuff, or I say their later stuff, the album With Teeth. I love that album. Partly because it was one of the songs was on the film Wanted. Every Day's Exactly the Same. One of my favourite songs. And I know more of their, like, not as industrial sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I know they could be heavy. I've heard that sort of stuff, but on that album, I was thinking, maybe it'll be more like that, the stuff I know, and because Hurt's on it, one of their most famous songs, I thought it was going to be an album of, I was ready to go in and, like, an album of like, because it's called a Downward Spiral.
Yeah.
I went to think it's going to be all like hurt, piano, like pulling at the heartstrings.
Yeah.
And you get that, but then it's just like, you're hit with this like, again, industrial, like heaviness as well, which I wasn't sort of prepared for.
Because lyrically, some of this is quite odd, as you mentioned. That mentioning pigs on several occasions.
On March of the Pigs, or whatever it was.
On the tracks.
First listening to it, it's like, cool first track, and then it hits you with Piggy, which I think is track number 2.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really know where this is going.
Mr. Self-Destruct? That's
the first one, yeah. And then I do think it sort of, I understood it more as the album went on, and it does get heavier as it goes on. And there was a couple of instrumental tracks towards the end, which I loved as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was sort of more expecting. I think it's an album that grows. It doesn't sort of let you... Or the first few, like, when you're in the middle of it, it doesn't let you breathe. And then it sort of does. It does crescendo. Yeah. And then comes back down nicely again, which I think was really cool. I can't imagine her anywhere else on the album than Last.
Last, yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
And it's, like I said, it's a famous track, but it wasn't famous through their version.
No.
I think their version, obviously the original.
Yeah.
But it's one of those scenarios where the better known version is the Johnny Cash one. And obviously he does a tremendous retelling of that story, which has a lot of like difference in it.
Yeah.
With his age and everything like that. Yeah. The whole sort of interpretation of the song, even though it's identically lyrically and so on, it just has a different thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting that because that's the sort of well-known song that you have to wait till the end of the album to hear it. Because you'd expect it to be the, where do you normally put the big single? Third?
Yeah.
First?
Yeah.
Usually around there, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not there. It's right at the end. And it's quite long. There's quite a lot of songs on this. It's just over an hour, this album.
Did you enjoy?
Honestly, not really.
No, I'm the same. I was expecting more, and I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that industrial sort of sound is for me. I can get why it's raw. I can imagine there's nothing else like it. That sort of I don't know how you go, especially with like, I don't know how you go about programming that sort of sound, especially around then.
Yeah. I was thinking that the Mr. Self-Destruct has got the intro to the album is quite odd. It sounds like somebody being punched.
Yeah.
Not sure what if that's
it's
what
visceral,
it's
it's raw, isn't it? Like,
kicked or punched or something. And then it hits that, like you said, that huge industrial electronic, very much Nine Inch Nails sound.
Yeah.
Comes in at the start of that track, and when that hit, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is what I remember. Yeah. This is Pretty Hate Machine type style." Yeah. And I had the same thought. How do you make that sound?
Yeah.
What is that that's making that sound? Because it's very much them.
Yeah.
But very much sort of familiar, and that driving beat as well.
Yeah.
This is very much what I remember. Overall, as a comment, what I was missing in comparison to Pretty Hate Machine was the catchiness, hookiness, sing-along ability of it, sort of thing. It's like, okay, I can get that these are good songs, I suppose, or it's trying to say something, but just not as enjoyable. I think that's sort of the bottom line. And it made me think, what is it about this that gives it the credit that puts it really high up the list on the Rolling Stone 500? Why is it up there?
Is it the single of Hurt, or I don't know?
Could it be? There's no answer to how these things happen and how many people it took to get it higher up.
Yeah.
You sometimes think, well, the difference between being 123 on that list and being 453, for all we know, it's 5 votes.
Yeah.
But
I think for its originality and for its, again, of its time, I think it's still very unique. No one sounds like Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
His voice is so distinctive, and like, just how like you can't place them. They could be on a metal lineup. They could also be on like a sort of DJ sort of like, I don't know, like festival sort of thing. I'm sure they could do a DJ set with some of the stuff they've done, and like they've got pop songs, and it's so. This is more their, like, again, like I said, visceral, like raw sort of sound. Yeah. And I think around this time there was like a big drug problem. I've seen playing Woodstock '94, that covered in mud, and they were just like animals, really, weren't they? And I can see if you grew up with it and it was out, you can think, wow. Because I think A Pretty Hate Machine, still very different, but it's still got that sort of 80s sort of.
Yeah.
And this is very much taking it away. This is we're the 90s now. This is
it
heavy,
doesn't
like,
fit as well. You can kind of see it's more kind of we're doing very much our own thing now rather than a little bit of connecting with some connective tissue to something else. I suppose you sort of earned the right to just do what you want. Yeah, I suppose. But it sounds very Nine Inch Nails. I listened to it first time I listened to it. I had it on whilst I was doing other things. Yeah. And I quite enjoyed it. I was like, this is good. This is Nine Inch Nails. I remember this. I'm familiar with the sound. Yeah. But nothing was particularly sticking out as memorable. And I thought before we were going to come and do this, I thought I must give this another listen. And I got a bit bored. I got about 3/4 of the way through, and sort of thought, it must be the last track coming up soon. And then I looked, I still had 4 tracks to go. I thought,
oh, really? See, that's where I enjoyed it more.
I'm disappointed. I wanted it to be done.
Yeah, I like my heavier stuff, so that I think it really hit it for me in that last quarter. Yeah, I was around the middle. I thought, not quite sure. There was this song. I thought, it's got really cool like drum groove in it, and then it's just them hitting random bits on the drums. You know, that one in the background is sort of like pan drums. It's like there's some like choices that aren't like tuned to my ear, I suppose. I'm
not saying. Yeah, I was listening. That's a good point. I was listening to that in headphones. Yeah, and it's very, very obvious that there's
because it comes in. You think, that's a different groove.
Everything's like either left or right, and there's nothing in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is, especially on headphones, and you wonder whether these things were. I think maybe things are mixed more for headphones these days than they used to be, because there was sort of anticipation that you're not going to be listening on headphones all the time, or that's not the primary way. Yeah. Whereas we know that probably is the primary way that people listen these days. So those sort of mixed decisions aren't quite so weird if you're listening on monitor speakers or just that home hi-fi or something like that. But that was very obviously it's all on the left and all on the right. Yeah. Nothing in the middle. Yeah, yeah. And then, as you said, it kind of kicks in, and everything does move back to the middle, and that gives you that sort of wham of, something just happened. Yeah. Which I think even that's quite cool. And I'm not saying when I say I got bored, I don't mean that the end of it was boring. I mean, I never got that far because I got a bit bored of waiting for it to get. So the last, this is kind of disappointment, I suppose. The last quarter could be better than the first quarter, but because I'm listening to it in sequence and waiting in order, by the time I was getting there, I was like, I just want it to be over.
I've seen interviews with Trent before when he said, I don't know if he's talking about this album in particular or other albums, but it's like the songs are catchy. You just got to give them a few listens. There's hooks in there, but they're not instant. Whereas I think, is that catchy then? I'm not sure, but you can tell a lot of his later like film work in the last few tracks, I think, as well, when the instrumentation stuff, instrumental, sorry, you can hear like stuff in the Social Network. Even, do you know the Old Town Road, Little Nas X? That was a sample of Trent Reznor.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was he gave away stuff.
Did he?
Yeah. Was it a torrent type thing or one of those streaming things? Yeah. So he did. I can't remember if it was a reaction to everyone sampling my stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Or whether it was no, this is just a good thing to do. So he posted a whole load of stuff that was his, and basically said, use this if you want.
No way.
And Old Town Road was one of those samples that was pulled
cool.
From him. And you know that then the follow-up to that is that means that Trent Reznor won a Grammy for Best Country Song.
No way, that's so cool. But he not get any royalties out of it though?
I think I don't know how that worked out. He possibly did in the end, because it would be like a credit or something like that. But the actual sample, I don't think it needed to be licensed to be used. Yeah. As I said, he did end up being credited for the song and the stuff. I'm pretty sure it might have been Best Country Song or Best something. Anyway, the thing was that it was weird because it was something you would never associate with a genre. Yeah. And I'm doubting myself, because I know there was a whole debate about Old Town Road and whether it should be classed as country. But I think that was the country music people being weird about. Yeah, yeah. Black gay artist.
Yeah, yeah. What, Trent Reznor?
Is he? Never seen pictures of him. No, they released soundtrack stuff last year for Tron Ares.
Okay, yeah.
But they actually put it out as Nine Inch Nails, which I think most of his soundtrack work has not been. I think he's been credited as Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
But this went out as Nine Inch Nails, and that to me, when I listened to those tracks, that sounded a lot more like the very early era Nine Inch Nails that I was more familiar with and liked more.
Do you know any of their later stuff, like Naughty Stuff?
No, not really. I sort of stopped following, and it feels like one of those bands that I really liked when they hit the scene. I thought, like this, and then it didn't hit as much for me later for whatever reason. I think we might have said before, by the time you get to when this comes out, I was listening more to Oasis, Blur, Britpop stuff, not so much of this. And it's not that if I had listened to it, I might have liked it at the time, and I might be more attracted to it now because it would have been more of that period. But I just wasn't listening. And listening to it now, I find it harder.
I think you'd really love With Teeth. I think it might be like 2004, 2005, whatever. I remember buying it from HMV. It was like 2 for a tenner deal they had on. Yeah. Because I heard it from that film. I was like, I'm going to give that a go. And it is really, really... It's hookier, it's a bit poppier, but then with the dark sort of industrial elements as well. Yeah. And again, I don't know if my ear was tuned to that going into this.
It's hardcore, it's cool. It's got great sounds on it. It has got good songs on it as well. But I don't know that I enjoyed it that much, which feels weird. Yeah, you're right. And at number 122 on the Rolling Stone 500, which is extraordinary. Really, it feels really high. Yeah. We were talking last week about Paul McCartney, and that's in sort of 400s, and feeling like Ram.
That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Should that be? Why is that not higher? Yeah. And why is it his only album that's on here when you've got multiple albums by other people? Yeah. If anyone said you like Nine Inch Nails, I'd always say yes. Yeah. And yet, when I think about it, I've hardly listened to any Nine Inch Nails, really. Yeah. Hardly anything. First album, a couple of EPs, and then everything else has just been a bit sort of every so often, piecemeal, something comes out, might listen to it, but I haven't explored the albums.
No, I won't go out of my way.
And that's the thing. I don't know that I would be massively encouraged to go and seek it out more, having listened to this. Yeah. Is it going to be more of the same? But as we've also said, things like personal recommendation, like you saying to me that I think you'd like With Teeth, you should go and check that out. Yeah. That makes a difference. Yeah, yeah. That means I probably will. Yeah. Rather than sort of just try and find my own way around. Yeah. I go, no, somebody said you should check this out because it's good, and it's someone I like and trust and respect their opinion.
They know your taste then, don't
they? Yeah, I'll go, I might not agree with you. Yeah. But because you've said check it out, I probably will. And I think, that word of mouth thing is vital as well. Mm. And if we just sort of roll that back to what we were saying about bands and indie bands as well, I think that's it's so important that you do encourage your fan base. Yeah. Really, really connect with your fan base, because word of mouth is so important. That if someone likes your band, if you can acknowledge the fact that they like your band, then they might be more likely to say, oh yeah, they're really cool as well. They respond to my messages and that shows and stuff like that, and that starts them telling their friends about how good you are. Yeah. And that's how you build your audience. So that's much more powerful than I liked your post on Instagram. Yeah. So okay, I really appreciate that too. Yeah. But the telling your friend that we're worth checking out is so much more powerful. Yeah. I don't know, I'd go back to this. I won't be rushing out to buy it.
No, I'm glad I listened to it, but I'm kind of disappointed with the outcome. I thought it'd be one way, but I wanted like a deep, and it is emotional, but in a different way. I'm sure if I really read the lyrics and got into it, I think there's a lot going on there, but I was expecting more hurt, and
me too. And I don't know if I'd ever really heard their version of Hurt before.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, it's good and it has that relevance, but I still feel like if I had a choice of if I could only listen to one, I probably would listen to the Johnny Cash version.
It doesn't sound like a hit single, but it's a great song, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, really good. That was The Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails. And next time, Billy, I think I mentioned this to you before. Go on. So we'll have to really think hard about what we do. The next album that we talk about will be the 100th album that we've talked about on the podcast.
It's got to be a good one.
So we'll have to think about what we do. And it's got to be either a really good one or a really bad, bad one. It's got to stand. It's got to be something, isn't it? Yeah. We'll have to celebrate it. So join us next time to find out what the 100th album that we talk about.
It's going to be special
on the podcast will be. Thanks for listening. That was the Apollo Audio podcast. Apollo Audio Hertford. You can find us apollo-audio.co.uk for all your tuition, recording, rehearsal needs. Hertford's hub for all things music. Do check us out there. You can also find us on Instagram at Apollo Audio podcast and write to us. Why not? Just, be the first.
Yes.
apolloaudiopod@gmail.com. We'll be back next time. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Are you sure you forgive me?